Okay, so picture the scene. It's February 15th, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
That Florida sun is finally burning off the morning fog. The grass is that perfect, almost fake-looking
That
green.
manicured green, yeah.
And you just hear that sound, that pop of a fastball hitting a catcher's mitt over and over. Pitchers and catchers have reported spring training is officially here.
It's my favorite time of year. It's the only time where every team is undefeated and, every roster looks perfect on paper.
At least until the first hamstring pull.
Exactly. Or the
Yep.
first elbow twinge.
Right. But today, we're not doing the whole generic Hope Springs eternal thing. We are zooming in on, I think, what might be the most volatile, chaotic place in sports right now.
You have to be talking about the American League East.
The American League East. I've been calling it the Thunderdome in my notes.
Thunderdome might not even be strong enough. I've been digging into this huge preview report, the Grapefruit League Gauntlet, and the thing that just jumps off the page isn't just the talent, it's the tension.
What do you mean by tension?
Well, usually you have a clear favorite, maybe a second contender, and then a couple teams that are, rebuilding.
Hitting the reset button.
Right. This year, no one is resetting. Everyone is all in.
That's what I wanted to start with, because the numbers themselves are just, they're weird. All the major projection systems, ZPS, Pacoda, Fangraphs, they all have the top 4 teams finishing within 2 or 3 wins of each other.
Which is basically zero. It's a statistical tie.
Exactly. So our mission here is to figure out how that's even possible. We need to cut through all the spring training hype and figure out who is actually built to survive this thing.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the money, the injuries, the roster math.
And if we're talking about a cage match, we have to start with the team that brought the most weapons, the most money.
We have to start in Toronto.
We have to talk about the Blue Jays.
I mean, did they just open the checkbook this winter, or did they lose the key to the entire vault?
They blew the vault door off its hinges. For that franchise, it's totally unprecedented.
Okay, so let's track the spending. They lose Bo Bichette. He goes to the Mets. But then they immediately turn around and drop $210 million on Dylan Cease.
$210 million.
And it didn't stop there.
No, and that's the fascinating part. It's not just about getting one ace. It's about sheer volume. They picked up Shane Bieber's option, which is expensive. That's a huge payroll hit.
And a no-brainer, baseball-wise, but it limits your flexibility.
Totally. And then they go to the KBO and sign the MVP, Cody Ponce.
So walk me through this. You've got Cease, you've got Bieber, you've got Ponce, and you still have Kevin Gausman and Jose Barrios. That's, what, 5 aces?
Actually, worse than that.
Yeah.
Or better, I guess. You have 6 legitimate big league starting pitchers. And that creates a very specific, very human problem.
You mean in the clubhouse?
Yeah, we look at this like a spreadsheet, right? Oh, great, they have pitching depth. But these are guys with egos. You can't just tell someone like Jose Barrios to, go pitch the 7th inning.
Especially not him.
Especially not him. Remember, he missed the postseason last year with an injury. He had to watch. He is coming into camp healthy with a massive chip on his shoulder, ready to prove he's a frontline guy.
And he looks over and sees Dylan Cease unpacking his bags at his locker.
He's got to be doing the math and feeling squeezed, right? And to make it even more complicated, you've got the kid, Trey Yesavage.
The Savage. Best nickname in baseball.
And it fits. But here's the roster crunch. Yesavage isn't just some prospect anymore. He pitched in the playoffs last year. High leverage innings. He had a 3.58 ERA in October.
So he's proven he can handle it.
He's proven he belongs. And once a player tastes that, you can't just send him back to AAA Buffalo to ride a bus because you signed some veterans. It kills morale.
Okay, so 6 veterans plus the kid who belongs. That's 7 starters for 5 spots. How on earth do they solve this?
This is the dark side of spring training. Someone's getting traded, or, and this is more likely, someone's going to get a phantom injury around late March.
The old general arm fatigue.
Exactly, a lot of tightness. It's just roster management disguised as medicine. It's a way to stash a guy on the injured list without losing him.
Okay, while they figure that out, the lineup looks different too. Bichette is gone. In comes Kazuma Okamoto from Japan. 4 years, $60 million.
And his arrival was a whole scene. Did you see the footage from Dunedin?
I did. The media presence was insane. It looked like the Super Bowl just for batting practice. But just looking at him, he's huge.
He is a physically imposing guy. And he brings that power they need. But I think the defensive side of this is getting overlooked.
How so? Big power guys aren't usually gold glovers.
Well, by putting Okamoto at third base, it lets them move Jimenez to shortstop full-time, and Jimenez is a much, much better defender there. So you're actually improving your infield defense significantly.
So Toronto is the team of excess. Too much pitching, big money, trying to buy their way out. Let's head down to Sarasota, the Baltimore Orioles.
If Toronto bought a vault, Baltimore finally smashed the piggy bank.
It's about time, right? For years, all we heard was, the Orioles won't spend. And then they signed Pete Alonso, the polar bear, 5 years, $155 million.
It just changes the entire vibe of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's a signal to everyone that the window to win is right now.
I gotta admit, seeing him in orange and black, my brain kind of short-circuited. It just looks wrong.
It is strange.
But then he put the jersey on and said, this is going to be home, and I actually got chills. It's a perfect fit for Utah Street.
Oh, analytically, it's a perfect marriage.
Mm.
He could hit 45 home runs there. Easy. You put him in the middle of that lineup with Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman. It's terrifying.
However, there's always a however in this division. The Jackson Holiday news.
Oof. Yeah. The reality check.
Fractured hamate bone. Surgery on February 12th.
It's just a brutal, brutal blow. The team says 6 to 8 weeks, but we need to explain why this specific injury is so nasty for a hitter.
Right, because usually you think a broken bone, it heals, you're good to go.
Not with the hamate. It sits right in your palm, right where the bat handle rests. So even when the bone is healed, you get all this nerve sensitivity.
So it's a grip strength thing.
It's 100% a grip strength thing. It saps your power. Guys come back, they can hit for average, make contact, but the home run power, it can take months to return. We might not see the real Jackson Holiday until June.
That is a massive variable. And speaking of variables, let's look at their pitching. It is a complete contrast to Toronto.
Vintage is a polite way to put it. You could call it the nursing home strategy.
I mean, you have this young electric lineup, and then your ace is Charlie Morton.
Charlie Morton is 42 years old.
He's the Yoda of the staff.
He is. And it's not just him. They're relying on older guys like Tomoyuki Sugano and Zach Eflin. They traded for Shane Baz, who's got a high ceiling, but the overall risk here is just flashing red.
Because older bodies break down.
And they recover slower. If those guys hit a wall in August, that high-powered offense might not be enough to carry them.
So, Baltimore is high-voltage offense, high-risk pitching. Okay, let's go to the team everyone loves to hate. The New York Yankees.
Yes. The status quo Yankees, as the sources are calling them.
Oof, that's a dangerous label in New York. I mean, they did re-sign Cody Bellinger, right? 5 years, $162 million. That's a big move.
It is, but you have to see it as maintenance, not an upgrade. They had Bellinger. Now they still have Bellinger. It doesn't change the equation. The ghost haunting that team is Juan Soto leaving for the Mets last year. They never replaced him. They still don't have that second superstar next to Aaron Judge.
So who's supposed to be that guy? Who steps up?
They are betting everything on Jason Dominguez, the Martian.
We've been hearing about the Martian since he was 16. Is it finally time?
It has to be. And here's another one of those roster rules that forces their hand. He is out of options.
Okay, explain that for the listener. What does out of options mean?
It means they can't send him down to the minor leagues anymore without every other team getting a chance to claim him for free.
So he has to make the team.
He has to sink or swim in the Bronx. And if he doesn't hit, that lineup behind Judge and Bellinger looks surprisingly thin for the Bronx Bombers.
And it's not just the lineup giving people anxiety, the bullpen. This part I just don't understand. They let Devin Williams walk. Luke Weaver, gone. Who is closing games?
That is the million-dollar question. They traded for Ryan Weathers.
Ryan Weathers, the starter.
The starter/swingman. He is not your traditional ninth-inning flamethrower. They're going to try a closer-by-committee approach.
Okay, I know the analytics guys say saves are overrated, but in a division this tight, doesn't that just terrify you?
It should terrify everyone. It sounds smart in a meeting, but on the field, it creates chaos. Relievers are creatures of habit. They need to find roles.
But hey, at least the spring training stadium looks nice.
Right. $18 million on renovations, new lights, new giant scoreboard.
So fans can watch those blown saves in stunning 8K resolution.
The irony is just, it's perfect. It highlights the whole problem. This status quo gamble is so risky when everyone else is loading up.
All right, let's head over to Fort Myers, the Boston Red Sox. If Toronto has too many pitchers, Boston has way too many outfielders.
It is an absolute logjam. The GM, Craig Breslow, is playing a game of chicken. You've got Jarren Duran, Wyatt Abreu, and Ceddanne Rafaela, who might be the best defensive outfielder alive.
And then there's the kid.
And then there's Roman Anthony. the Wonder Kid.
He's the #2 prospect in
Yeah.
all of baseball.
And his minor league numbers were just silly. He slashed .320, .440. He's in big league camp. And honestly, the projections say he might already be their best outfielder.
So what do? You can't sit all these guys. Why not just make a trade?
Leverage. Everyone knows he has to trade one of them, so the offers are low. He's waiting for another team to get an injury in camp and get desperate, then the price goes up.
Speaking of characters, did you see Kristen Casas show up to camp?
I did, in a red ski mask and sunglasses. He looked like a comic book supervillain.
It's a whole vibe. But jokes aside, a healthy Casas is the key to their whole lineup.
He's the linchpin. And they made a really smart move for their ballpark by signing Ranger Suarez.
He's not a big strikeout guy, right? Why is that a good fit for Fenway?
Fenway Park physics. The green monster eats fly balls for breakfast. Suarez is an elite ground ball pitcher.
He keeps it on the dirt.
Exactly. If the ball is on the ground, the monster doesn't matter. It's a very smart, stabilizing move for them.
Okay, one team left. The Tampa Bay Rays. And the biggest story there isn't a player. It's their stadium.
They're finally going home. The roof at Tropicana Field is fixed.
So no more playing home games at a spring training facility like they did all last year.
We cannot overstate how huge that is. They were basically nomads for a whole season, living out of suitcases.
Routine is everything.
It is. Getting back to the Trop with all its weird quirks is a legitimate home field advantage. That stability alone is worth wins.
But it's still the Rays. They traded Brandon Lowe. They traded Shane Baz to Baltimore.
Classic Rays. Sell high, buy low. But the name everyone needs to know, the guy they're building around, is Junior Caminero.
The hype around him is massive.
For good reason. The projections are calling him the breakout player of the year. Some think he has 40 homer potential.
40 home runs from one guy. That completely changes their offense.
If he hits that ceiling, the Rays go from a scrappy team to a powerhouse fast.
Okay, so we've covered everyone. The big spenders in Toronto, the high-voltage Orioles, the status quo Yankees, the outfield-heavy Red Sox, and the homecoming Rays. Let's get to the predictions.
This is where the spreadsheets go to war with the vibes.
And there was one projection from ZipPS that it made my jaw drop.
The Yankees finish.
Yes. ZipPS has the New York Yankees finishing in 4th place. 4th. With 87 wins.
It sounds insane to say out loud. The Yankees will finish 4th. But if you connect the dots we just talked about, the thin lineup, the bullpen experiment, relying on a rookie, it's actually plausible. Their floor is much lower than people think.
So who wins spring training? Not the division, just the Grapefruit League.
Oh, it's got to be Toronto.
Because of that pitching depth.
Right. Think about it. In the 7th inning of a spring game, most teams are throwing some kid from Double-A. The Blue Jays are going to be throwing Cody Ponce or Trey Yesevich because they have to put them somewhere. They're going to crush everybody.
But does winning in March mean anything in September?
Not always.
Yeah.
But I'm watching Baltimore for the vibes win. They're hungry. They have that Alonso energy. They have something to prove.
It really is this ultimate clash of styles, isn't it? You've got the spreadsheet teams, Toronto and Tampa, and then the vibes teams, Boston and Baltimore.
The Yankees are just stuck in the middle, sweating.
So here's the thought for the listener. If this division is decided by 2 or 3 games, like the projections say,
Which it probably will be.
think about one game, a random Tuesday in May. The Yankees are up by 1 in the 9th. They bring in Ryan Weathers, their swingman, to close it out. He gives up a home run. They lose.
While on that same night, Toronto's starter gets knocked out early, so they bring in their number 6 starter, an ace, on any other team to pitch the middle innings and lock it down. They win.
That one decision Toronto spending on depth versus the Yankees trying to outsmart the system in the bullpen, that could literally be the difference. The one game that cost them the playoffs.
It's the central question. Can vibes beat math over 162 games?
We're about to find out. And before we go, you had one last thing for people to watch for.
Yes. Watch the hands.
The hands.
Specifically, grip strength. We talked about it with Holiday, but hand and wrist injuries are way up. A guy with a sore wrist in March might sound minor, but it can mean his power is completely gone until May or June. Keep an eye on those injury reports.
Good tip. We'll be tracking the wrists, the vibes, and the spreadsheets. Spring is here. Let's play ball.